So hi guys, welcome back to this week's Footy Friday. Again, I'm Aaron. He's Declan.
All right.
With this week, we're just going to go through the weekend's games, midweek Champions League, and then we're going to have a look at BBC Sports, their predicted 11 for the Euro 2020 and where they are now. Because last week we did cover our England squad, and then we'll have a look towards the weekend's games. And also, if you do see Declan's mood change throughout this podcast, it's because United are playing at this very moment.
Yeah, they're currently winning, but if they concede, my mood will change dramatically.
Yeah. So I apologise if you hear anything or his mood changes drastically.
Yeah, I'll try and rein myself in.
So the first game, obviously last week, was other than the City Tottenham, it was the biggest game to talk about. Was the Leicester Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go particularly well for Liverpool.
Not quite.
Losing 3-1.
Yeah.
Not only that, I think it was the second goal or third goal, Vardy's goal.
The Alisson one, yeah.
Yeah, the shocker from both
Alisson
sides.
And Kabak.
Yeah, but both the defender and the goalkeeper. I don't know whether Alisson didn't call for it, and Kabak didn't call for it either. So you've got two players who who know they're going for it, but they don't know the other person's going for it.
Yeah. So I know it's hard when the other person doesn't call and then you don't. You assume that you have to go for it, and they both made that decision.
Yeah.
So and then Jamie Vardy's not the person you want to do that around.
No, definitely not.
They played well up to that point until they conceded the Leicester goal, the first one. They looked pretty solid, and they looked like they could have easily won 1-0, really, or even a draw. They didn't look like they were going to lose, but once they conceded the first one, within 6-7 minutes,
Well, yeah, 7 minutes, three goals in 7 minutes.
Yeah, they are struggling. Leicester are doing really well in the league. They're surprising a lot of people. Well, not surprising a lot of people, but since they won the league, they've consistently been top 5 or 6.
They only had that blip season after they won the league because they had other commitments elsewhere, like the Champions League and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. But that was expected. But since then, they've been pretty regular in the top 4.
Yeah, it's been good. They've been an exciting team to watch. Because you've got some of the younger English players as well coming through, like Harvey Barnes, James Maddison. I know James Justin wasn't playing because he was injured in the cup, but it's just some of the names coming through at Leicester. And I think the way Brendan Rodgers got him playing, they understand what to do.
Yeah, it's definitely, with a manager coming in, it's definitely buying into that philosophy. What he aims to do, well, not in terms of tactics, but in terms of the players he brings in, he has the key roles sorted out. So the goalkeeper, a veteran, he's got a veteran in Johnny Evans. He's got a veteran, obviously, in Jamie Vardy. And then players like Mark Albrighton in the midfield. And then he's got them youth players to feed off of that. So when you see, I can't even think, but too many veterans doesn't work precisely because they haven't got the legs, and then too many youngsters in one team without those core veterans in each position.
Well, to be honest with you, I know they're not necessarily all veterans, but Burnley, for example, have got a lot of players on the older side.
Yeah,
where they have got a few younger players, but not many.
I think that's what is potentially hindering teams like Leeds, who I can't really think of many old players in that team. I think you'd probably say Bamford, which is more senior, but maybe Luke Ayling.
You need players that have got at least 3 or 4. Well, you need players who've got like 3 or 4 seasons in the Prem.
Yeah, exactly. Kasper Schmeichel, Johnny Evans, Mark Albrighton, Jamie Vardy. Literally, that's the definition of it.
Yeah, and and once you get that core, you can then build.
Did I say Peter Schmeichel?
You probably did, but we'll move. We move.
Yeah.
Once you get that core set of players, you just build around the core.
Yeah, and that's what Brendan Rodgers is doing really well. Hence the introduction. I say the introduction, but why James Maddison and Harvey Barnes, especially this season and last season, have been doing really well.
Yeah.
And even players like Fofana and Soyuncu. With the absence of Soyuncu, Fofana's come in and just looked unbelievable. And he's like, 20, 21 or something?
Yeah. He's on loan as well, isn't he, at the moment?
They need to sign him.
I think I don't know whether it's an on loan with an option or an obligation to buy.
They should buy him because he's looked crazy this season.
They've got decent. I know they're not world class replacements necessarily, but if somebody does get injured, they do have players that can play in relatively the same positions.
Exactly.
Mendy is one of them. Iheanacho, because obviously with Vardy, you got like you said, Mark Albrighton. I know he's playing alongside some of the younger players, like Harvey Barnes and things like that. But he's still a good replacement.
Well, yeah, you need them. You need those sort of people, and they're not necessarily even players that probably don't get on the pitch. Like I think, who's the centre back that used to be captain for him? That one that was lifted the trophy from Morgan. He's still there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like even him, he's going to be a massive influence in the dressing room.
Yeah,
he's going to be huge. Even players that don't necessarily play week in, week out. I can't remember the last time he even played. But
I think he played in the cup. Obviously, the cup's different.
Well, he'll probably eventually turn into a coaching role, presumably.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be a massive influence. Just players that don't necessarily play all the time, but have that veteran attitude, and obviously himself coming from lower leagues, coming up to the Premier League and winning the Premier League with an unlikely team. He'll know exactly what players like Fofana and Soyuncu need to do to stay at the top, and so far they're doing it. So whatever Brendan Rodgers and his staff are doing at the minute, they're doing really well.
Yeah, and then one team that have been they topped the table, but they didn't perform very well at the weekend. Tottenham lost to City 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the best game for them.
No, I think if you're a Tottenham fan, you definitely would have wanted at least a goal and to show some sort of spark in the game against a team as good as City. City at the moment do look unstoppable, and that is pretty much thanks to Foden and Gundogan. I'd say Foden and Gundogan at the moment are their two most informed players and their two most influential players. Tottenham started off the season really well, but it seems to be a habit with Tottenham that I don't know whether I can't really blame the players, because I think their team they have more depth than they used to, but I don't think you can get that much success and have a good all-round season when you've got Jose Mourinho there, because attitudes will just change so drastically.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, where are they now? Like 7th, 8th, 9th?
Ninth.
9th. Yeah, they're considering they were so much higher than Arsenal.
They were top of table sort of around Christmas time, weren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Only a couple of months gone, and they're practically mid-table. Yeah, they are struggling, and I mean they aren't. Wait, let me look. I mean they're not. They're scoring a fair amount, but they're also conceding quite a lot as well.
Well, yeah. City did basically the perfect job. Just make sure that Kane can't get the ball.
Yeah, that is one of their biggest threats, obviously.
Just to keep Kane and Son off the ball, and then nobody else really does anything.
Yeah, because especially from deep on the counter-attack, Kane and Son are the ones that get the ball on the halfway line, or even deeper on the edge of the box.
Yeah.
And just 1-2, pass it.
Yeah.
Pass it out wide, run into the box, or take it themselves. Once you eliminate that threat, who really is there? Bergwijn, Moura, they're not of the same caliber. And if Tottenham don't push for top 4, which is going to be hard, I can't see. It's like with Dortmund. Their two main players, Sancho and Haaland, if they don't do something this season, you can't see them staying there. And it's the same, I think, for Son and Kane. I think more so Son, who pretty much, I think Son has the pick of clubs. He could literally go anywhere.
Yeah. Whereas I think Kane could go anywhere, but I don't think he would, because I think he's set his sights on, the Spurs all-time goal scorer, Premier League all-time goal scorer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry.
But,
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely the sort of person to rather be in the history books than win loads of titles. He comes, not selfish, but he comes across as if he would want to do something for himself rather than achieve greatness with a team.
Yeah, I hope for the English fans and things like that, who hope that Kane stays in the Premier League and is able to basically boost the English game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. It'd be a struggle to see. It'd be a struggle to keep him.
I think Son, I think, could fit many systems, whereas I don't think Kane would. So I think Kane, although having a massive pick of clubs, I definitely, like Barcelona, probably wouldn't want him. But then you could see Real Madrid. Whereas with Son, I think either team would take him.
Well, you've got plenty of top European clubs and even top world clubs, really, to be honest with you.
I think any team now would take Son, whereas, like I said, I don't think Kane would.
Because this kind of Tottenham team it's not necessarily a perfect fit for Kane because he's not really scoring as many goals as he was under Pochettino. But this kind of play helps Kane a lot because he's able to get hold of the ball and he's able to create chances for either for someone else or to pass the ball to someone else for them to create the chances for him.
Yeah, under Pochettino, he was very much the finisher, whereas now under Mourinho, he's very much the creator.
Yeah.
It's making under this system, it's making him look more influential.
Yeah,
but it's still having not the desired effect on the results, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it was. I can't remember which game it was. I think it was against one of the bigger sides. He was getting more touches and more headers and things like that, and in his own box clearing then it was like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, I've just seen United 3-0 up, so I'm just happy.
All right, there you go, people. There you go. He's happy now.
Yeah.
But then obviously with the City game, the penalty wasn't great.
I didn't see it.
Well, everyone thought that Ederson was coming up to try and take it. Turns out he was telling him where to go. Right. Rodri took the penalty. It was down to the keeper's right-hand side. Lloris got a hand to it. Was sort of not necessarily in the bottom corner, but it was around that area.
So Ederson came up as if it looked like he was about to take the penalty.
Yeah. So Rodri.
Did you see
scored.
That in the La Liga the other week?
Oh,
Someone did that against Barcelona, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought when I saw that, I thought, it must have been like the 95th minute or something, but it was in like 20 minutes, and he came and took it. Must have been some sort of training bet or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember who said, but someone said at City that Ederson has got a really good penalty kick.
Oh, maybe we can expect to see him take one then.
Well, he got an assist.
Well, yeah, that's not the first time he's had an assist. His distribution is crazy.
That is one thing that City do offer, whereas I don't think Tottenham or any of the other teams really can. City do always pass it around, but they have got the opportunity to go for a long ball.
Yeah, whereas I don't think Tottenham particularly look for that, and I don't think Lloris particularly has that distribution level.
Yeah.
Whereas that is pretty much the reason Ederson was brought in, for distribution.
Yeah. And it's just, and I think, I just don't know. I don't know whether Tottenham fans will get sick of Mourinho, because I think they will. It wouldn't, Well, he has a third season syndrome, doesn't he? So.
Yep. Happened at Chelsea, happened at Madrid, happened at United.
Yep.
Just the style of play just gets boring to watch, and you just think, I'd rather. And with United, he was actually doing well. But even you can't even say that. Oh well, he's playing boring football, but he's getting results because he isn't.
Yeah.
So Tottenham fans don't even have that.
It was working towards the start of the season, when they were picking up points and they were actually playing quite good football when they were actually on the front foot, when they were the ones dictating everything. But
they looked really unstoppable.
Yeah, whereas when they ever don't have the ball, it just seems like they're a bit lost.
Yeah, 100%.
And I just think that eventually, well, to be honest, I think this is his second season now, isn't it?
Yeah, he joined last year.
So I guess we'll find out next season as to if he does go through his third season as a draw.
I mean, depending. Yeah, I mean, if they don't finish top 5, he'll probably get sacked.
Well, yeah, I was going to say now he needs to be focusing a lot on the Europa League.
Oh yeah, 100%, hands down. Because if he wins that, he ain't going next season.
Yeah.
But if they don't, and they maybe hit 6th or 5th, I'd be surprised if he was there.
But moving away from one North London club to the other North London club, Arsenal beat Leeds 4-2 at the weekend.
Yeah.
Aubameyang get his first Premier League hat trick.
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard that. Well, I mean, that'll do him confidence because not necessarily been struggling for goals, but hasn't really had the opportunity, and then playing more on the left. He's not really been doing a whole lot. Well, none of the Arsenal side have been doing a great deal, but they're getting a bit of form back. They're getting the odd win here and there rather than just straight losses, which is what they were getting for like a month and a half. So they are coming back. They're not far behind Tottenham now. They are just 2 points, but Tottenham have got a game in hand. I mean, they're only 12 points off of top 3, so it's not a massive gap, but it's definitely not where they'd want to be. They'd want to be at the moment. They'd probably want to be minimum sort of 5th, sort of West Ham are, where West Ham are. Yeah.
But Leeds definitely showing the fact that they are missing Calvin Phillips. Because as good as Strout got the goal, but it just wasn't the same.
No, again, they just showed that they can score, but they just don't have that solid. Obviously, with the missing Calvin Phillips as the CDM, they just don't have that solidity. In the team, it's always going to be hard with that.
Yeah, and then when you've got I think the system that Arteta's got now, where he played at the thing where Aubameyang was the sole centre of the attack, and you have Saka, Odegaard, and Smith Rowe behind him. It kind of gives Aubameyang the ability to drift left, drift right, go through the centre if he really wanted to, because of the players he's got behind him. Because his creativity always going forwards.
Yeah,
and I think that kind of works well.
Mm-hmm.
With the two young players coming through, like Saka and Smith Rowe, they could be fighting for the England spot soon. Well,
Saka definitely.
Saka's already. Well, Saka's. I would say that he's already in the team.
Yeah, but what position?
That's the thing. I don't know whether he'd be a winger, a left wing.
Unless they play 5. If they played 5 at the back,
yeah, he could be a wing back. Yeah,
but then again, there's more favourable people, I suppose.
Yeah,
I'd say that's the one thing with Arsenal currently is that their youngsters are probably the only shining light, like the only thing to look forward to and the only exciting thing about the season. Because again, the results ain't there or aren't there consistently. They have the good odd performance. Again, if they don't go far in the Europa League, Arteta's not going to get sacked, but it's definitely going to be a bit more questioned whether he should stay.
Yeah.
But again, there's not many. The thing with Chelsea is that they got rid of him instantly and got Tuchel, but Arsenal were just holding on and hoping.
But the whole thing is that if you look at the manager that Arsenal would go for, just isn't around.
That's what I mean. Like,
there's nobody there. Like, you could argue that they could have got Tuchel if they got rid of Arteta. But if you look around now, it's like Frank Lampard. They're not going to go. They're not definitely not going for Frank Lampard.
No.
They're not going to go for some of the other players, the other managers that are going to be around.
Yeah.
So that they'd have to pinch someone from somewhere. And it's like,
I don't see anyone who would want to leave to go to Arsenal.
No, and Arteta. I think the Arsenal board have decided have seen the what Arteta wants to do, and giving him the time that he needs to bed in.
To be fair, someone who could be interesting would be Graham Potter, potentially.
Could be interesting.
Because
but then
teams like Wolves and Southampton, obviously you're looking at they're having weaker seasons, but arguably they could do better next season than Arsenal if Arsenal still do what they do this season. Whereas Brighton, you can never see Brighton having a better season than Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone else. I mean, there's no one really. I'd
say
it's
not. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not, like I said, at the moment, the job market, there's no one you can look at that team and go, it'll be drastically improved by having this manager, especially one that's already in a job.
Yeah, there isn't going to be one that isn't top 5 manager or whatever, or top 6 manager that would do any better, that they could actually get. You're right.
Yeah.
Arteta's doing sort of well with what he's got.
Yeah. Moving on to Champions League. Barcelona getting shown up by the 22-year-old Kylian Mbappe.
Yep. I mean, it just shows that he's not in a farmers league and he's not a farmers sort of player, It just shows that he is actually world class and he is probably top 5 players in the world.
Well, Mbappe is the first person to score a hat-trick against Barcelona in the Champions League knockout stages.
Don't forget Moise Kean.
Oh, right, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But yeah, Mbappe is the first player to score a Champions League hat-trick in the knockout stages against Barcelona.
Nice.
And I think the first person since Andrei Shevchenko in '97 to score a hat-trick against Barcelona in the Champions League ever.
When he was playing in for Dynamo Kiev?
Probably.
I think that's where he was. It just, not only does it highlight the fact that PSG are, I mean, last season it highlighted when they reached the final, but it just highlights the fact that not only are they really good, but Barcelona just are so off the pace.
Yeah.
So off the pace. The players, I mean, I'm not 100% sure because I don't watch them, so I don't really know this. Obviously, it's, fast-paced play. But in terms of the players they're recruiting, they seem to hold on to players that are aging terribly. They seem to make poor signings, and then the players that are coming through, they're very reliant on them.
Yeah, Barcelona at the moment, it's a money problem, I think.
Okay.
Considering the size of the club, they're actually in quite a big financial hole.
Right.
Because as there's reports, I don't know. I don't know whether this is rumours or whether it's true or anything. But the reason why they're not playing Coutinho as much is A, well, he's injured, and B, because they don't want to pay Liverpool the fee for his appearances. And then obviously you've got I don't think they've signed anybody recently. They've brought through some of the younger players, Pedri, Fati, and some of the,
I know they've signed him, but
he was from Ajax and things like that. But still, you are right, because like I don't understand. I really don't understand why Braithwaite was there.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
That was just a panic buy because they wanted the backup for Suarez, and then he's gone.
But that signing so doesn't make any sense. It's just odd that they thought that he could actually do something when he was at Middlesbrough and literally did nothing for them. I know he did stuff at Toulouse. He was at Toulouse before.
Yeah.
And I know he was an interesting prospect there. And I mean, to be fair to Barcelona, he has scored a few goals.
Yeah. But
it's just an odd choice. I don't know what they saw in him.
Well, I would have thought they would have gone down the route of let's try and find a younger player and almost bring him through, almost create like a new Messi, in quotations.
Yeah. Yeah, but I suppose the choice, there wasn't really any choice. I'm just going to have a look at Braithwaite's. Yeah, he's 29. I mean, I thought he was younger than that.
But then again, Barcelona then have went and spent 100 odd million on Griezmann.
I didn't fully understand that either, to be honest, because I thought he was probably, when did they sign him? 2019.
Yeah, it was because it was I think it was 2018 because it was literally like, was it 29? No, I think was it after the World Cup? Like literally right after the World Cup?
Can I have a look if you want?
Yeah, I think it was either after the World Cup or around the World Cup time. I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. You're probably right with 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, because I think he was. Yeah, because he won the World Cup and then was at Atletico, and I think didn't he win the? Then he got knocked out of everything. Then I think he threw his toys out the pram.
Yeah,
because he weren't winning anything with Atletico, but even though he won the Europa League and things like that.
I mean, that looked good on paper, but it hasn't, completely worked out. I mean, He scored 27 goals in 81 games for him.
Well, you could say the same about Coutinho as well. Spending 130 odd million or something like that.
Yeah.
He didn't work out. And the fact that they actually loaned him out to Bayern Munich for him to then go and score against them in the knockout stages of the Champions League.
I know. Another one is Pjanic for Arta. That was confusing. Arta's like what, 22, something like that. Pjanic is, I think, 30. And you just think, you got a plan for the future. That's just what Barcelona. Pjanic is a good player, but Arta will probably eclipse him when he gets older.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a plan for the future.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, with all these aging players they're relying on, like Messi and Piqué, who seem to be in the squad every single game, and you see against Mbappe when Mbappe was trying to run away from Piqué and he was trying to pull him down.
Yeah.
That just shows how the team was just getting old.
Yeah.
And Busquets, does Busquets still play?
I think so.
Well, how long's he been there? Well, I know Messi's been there the most, but
Busquets has been there before. Well, I think was he there before Pep?
I think so, unless Pep introduced him.
Maybe.
He might have been then under Kluivert. Because I think Kluivert was before Pep, wasn't he?
Yeah. He played
5-6.
Yeah, he played in the party. Busquets played in the PSG game. 2008.
Oh, okay.
He was introduced.
So I think Pep was probably there by then, wasn't
he? Yeah, because that was 28. Well, 2008 was
it?
It was September 2008. So that'd be. Yeah, no, yeah, because it would be because he won. It was 2009 when they beat United at Wembley.
Or
was that 2011?
I think it was 2011.
I know. Well, it was either 2009 when Messi scored that header and he lost his boot fell off.
Oh yeah.
Or it was 2011 when they beat him at Wembley. But yeah, Busquets. But Busquets was September. It was introduced September 2008. Played 627 games for Barcelona. Scored 17 goals. He's 32 years old.
It's just that over-reliance. I know I said it earlier about Leicester, but
let's have a look at the Barcelona team. You got Neto. I know Neto's backup goalkeeper, 31. Piqué, 34. Alba, 31. And then most of the core is older than 25. Pjanic, 30. Busquets, 32.
On paper, that team that played PSG looks deadly.
Yeah,
but
you know,
it just doesn't play well.
I know Messi's being one of the best in the world, but 33, Braithwaite, 29, coming up to 30.
Mm.
There is a few players there. There are a few players you could look at in the team and think, in the future.
Yeah, definitely. But
you
it's the
can't.
players that they have to rely on. I think it's more the signings, because you can't really slate PK and you can't really slate ter Stegen or Busquets or Messi. But the Dembélé just hasn't really worked out. De Jong hasn't looked properly good. Griezmann hasn't fully worked out. Pjanic, it didn't understand it. Neto signing, I didn't understand. Braithwaite, Umtiti hasn't fully worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just all comes down to they had ideas for the future, and then because they've brought them in and introduced them now, rather than sort of waiting it out kind of thing. I think they're falling into the trap of their own doing, really. I think.
Right.
Because obviously Barcelona is one of the best teams in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody expects Barcelona to be, at the very top step.
Yeah.
And when they're not, it's a bit like,
it's surprising.
This is, yeah.
It seems that they were. I think perhaps what the problem was that they didn't implement the young players soon enough. So it seems like now they're trying to funnel in about 5 all at once.
Yeah. Whereas if you look at like, I know City haven't really done it, but City funneled it, brought in Foden gradually over the years when David Silva was, sort of 30 odd, getting 30s. He was brought in, and then Foden was, having gradual minutes.
Yeah. Whereas over the last sort of 6 months, Pedri, Trincao, who's the other one? There's another one, isn't there?
Basically half the team.
Yeah, let me have a look. So Pedri, who's a starter.
Yeah.
Puig, Trincao, Mingueza came on. Well, there's 5 players right there that they're trying to push into the squad. 4 players, sorry, that they're trying to push into the squad straight away. And I think it's a mixture of aging players, signings not working, and forcing too many youngsters to play at once. All 3 of them factors just haven't merged. And especially with the appointment of Koeman as well, who is completely in over his head and completely shouldn't even be in that job.
Yeah, I think if it had been Ronald Koeman from, 5 years ago, maybe even 10, 5 to 8 years ago, when he was at the Netherlands and he was doing really well, I would have probably said yes. But after his recent, failings at some of the Premier League clubs, I think it's knocked him a bit.
Again, that, like the signings, it was an odd appointment.
Yeah, it was just, they could have, the one person they could have got who was sat on the opposite side was Pochettino.
Yeah. Wait, what's the thing with Espanyol? Is that Madrid or Barcelona that he'd never managed?
Oh yeah, it's true. In Barcelona then.
Yeah, that's presumably why. I mean, they probably contacted him, to be fair, and he just probably told them, jog on.
Yeah.
But that just shows that last season, even like the signings that they've got, I'd say PSG are probably in a very similar position. They've got aging players and players that have been there for countless years, and players that haven't really worked out at other clubs but have come in and worked. And that's presumably because of Pochettino. You look at Moise Kean, didn't do anything really at Everton. Idrissa Gueye was at Everton but wasn't huge. Paredes, Zenit, Icardi, Florenzi, they've all come in with reputations, other than maybe Icardi, of not being world beaters, and have come in and look like world beaters. Whereas you can't say the same for like Frenkie de Jong, Ousmane Dembele, Griezmann, Braithwaite, whatever. You just can't say the same, and that's presumably because they haven't rushed it. And Pochettino, I know obviously Pochettino's only been there this season, but even Tuchel, you can see what he's doing at Chelsea. They're starting to get results. You need to build the foundations and introduce the youngsters early enough, but not all at once,
Yeah.
which Barcelona struggled with. How long have we talked about this game?
Yeah. Well, moving swiftly on. The other game on that night, Liverpool versus Leipzig, beaten 2-0.
Yeah.
Nothing much to shout about. You know,
No, pretty solid 2-0 win.
Salah and Mane getting back up, getting on the score sheet. I think that gives them a bit of confidence now going into the rest of the season. You know, the rest of the upcoming games.
It'll give Mane more because it's been a while since he scored, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Liverpool pretty much putting their best team out, playing that back again.
Yeah.
Henderson still being implemented as a centre back.
Yeah.
Wait, who did they have centre backs to come back on? Reece Williams, Nathaniel Phillips. And that was it.
Davis.
Oh yeah, the Preston one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, they're just. But I'm surprised they'd rather play Jordan Henderson. But I suppose he is such an influential player.
I was going to say it's the voice, seniority and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the one player who definitely didn't have a good game, but he's lucky that he's already signed his transfer and contract. Upamecano, he had a terrible game.
Did he?
Yes, he gave the ball away so many times.
Do you reckon that's because his mind's elsewhere? Like it doesn't really matter how he performs because he's off.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be, but even though you've made the transfer been sorted already, your focus still should be on the here and now.
Yeah, but I suppose we don't know what he's thinking and we don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's an odd formation they played.
Yeah, 3-5-2.
Yeah, and it's interesting they didn't play a recognised striker up front as well because Danny Olmo and Nkunku are attacking
midfielders. Yeah,
but then again they did have Hwang Hee-chan and Poulsen on the bench.
But they did bring Hwang Hee-chan on
and Poulsen.
Yeah, so it's like, what was the point?
Again, I know we've been talking about managers, but someone that I'd love to see in the Premier League is
Nagelsmann.
I was about to say Klosterman. He's one of the players. Yeah, Julian Nagelsmann. Yeah, and again, I could see him if Gerrard didn't go to Liverpool. I could definitely see him as the successor of Jurgen Klopp. Yeah, I think he'd be a great fit for Liverpool. Just carrying on, pretty much being the second generation of Klopp.
Yeah,
that is pretty much what he would be.
Yeah, and he also with Leipzig, he's worked with a limited budget.
Mm-hmm.
So he can control the finances a little bit better at Liverpool.
Yeah, and even more so at Hoffenheim. I don't know whether he was. I don't think he was there when Firmino was there, was he?
Don't think so.
Because he's only like 37 now, so that would have been like early 30s.
Yeah,
but and and the thing with that is that Leipzig look like a very good, solid team, and players like Kevin Campbell, Sabitzer, Danny Olmo,
Angelino
as well. It'd be a very good, not partner club, but a club that the manager would know about to be able to bring in players. Konate, Justin Kluivert, maybe.
Yeah. So even some of the they always have. Leipzig always fascinated me because it was always like it wasn't like Chelsea in the 04-05 when it was like they came in big and spent loads of money. Mm-hmm. They've used what they've got and they've built themselves up to be this basically a German giant, really.
Yeah,
because you've got Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Leipzig, Mönchengladbach at the moment. Obviously, not so much recently, but those kind of teams all pushing.
Yeah, Dortmund's sixth. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, they haven't been very good in the league, Dortmund.
No, losing 8 games.
But in the Champions League, they've They went and beat Sevilla 3-2 away from home.
To be fair, I'm surprised it was so close. Sevilla obviously coming off that win last season in the Champions League against Inter Milan. So they've got experience of playing really good teams. But I would have thought Dortmund would have been a bit more comfortable in that game with obviously the power of Haaland and Sancho.
Yeah, Haaland scored 2 goals, but they didn't seem to do much.
Right.
Really. Obviously, he scored 2 goals, man of the match and things like that. But other than the 2 goals, I didn't really see him do much else.
Mm-hmm.
Sancho had an assist.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the thing with both Mbappe and Haaland. Are we seeing the next generation?
Next generation of what? Footballer? Like world-class player? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a roof. Honestly, I think Haaland could do a lot more than Jadon Sancho could. I don't think he's a better player, but I think he could. Again, I think Sancho couldn't go to every club, but I think Haaland could.
Yeah.
I think literally, if you said Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, I don't know, Juventus, I think every one of them, Man City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Tottenham, whatever, every one of them would probably take Haaland, but I don't think they'd all take Sancho.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because Sancho's one of those players that plays sort of. He's a winger, but he can play sort of. He just plays. He cuts inside, whereas a lot of teams don't necessarily. They do want players to cut inside, but it's only a select amount of teams.
It's the same with this. It's sort of the reversal of Tottenham. I think Kane couldn't do any role, whereas I think Son could probably play as an attacking midfielder. He could play as a wide player. He could play as a centre forward. And I think if you asked Haaland to probably play as a winger, he could. But if you asked Sancho to play as a centre forward, he probably couldn't.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
But again, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
Maybe not this season, but maybe the end of next season if they keep it up, if they were still there. I'd be surprised if Haaland probably didn't join Real Madrid because I could probably see him going there. Sancho, I mean, it's an ongoing thing with Man United, but
yeah.
Again, I can't really think. Maybe PSG, but again.
But at the end of the day, it's who's got the funds for him.
Yeah, we don't know what sort of money teams have got. But Haaland, what are we talking price tag? Haaland at the moment has got to be 150.
Yeah, I was going to say it's gonna be.
Whereas Sancho, I'd probably be saying 100.
Yeah,
I think that's probably about fair for those two.
And then obviously in the last game of the Champions League, Porto beat Juventus 2-1.
Yeah.
The first goal of Porto was a shocking defensive mistake by Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was it Bernard? No, it can't have been Bernardeschi. It was Bentancur. Played the ball to Chesney. Wasn't quite as quick enough. Then I think it was Taremi getting literally a toe literally just before the Chesney spoke it back in the back of the net. A minute gone.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say definitely the shock so far. Porto probably come into the competition not expecting much. Got out of the group stages, facing Juventus, probably thinking, well, Ronaldo's just going to smack us. But obviously they proved them wrong. Again, with Barcelona, it seems that Juventus have a similar issue. They're very reliant on I think their transfers have been better, but I don't think their transfers have been good enough for the size of their club. Since buying Ronaldo, they've got McKennie, they've got De Ligt, they've got Chiesa.
Yeah,
they're good signings, but I think Juventus should be doing more. They shouldn't be signing someone from Fiorentina, a PSG academy player, Schalke. I know the McKennie's only on loan, but again, that was seemed like a very odd signing, and their over reliance on players like Alexandro, Chiellini, Chesney. I know Ronaldo still does it, but he's going to stop eventually. And they don't,
Yeah,
like, even like Aaron Ramsey, Alvaro Morata, Bonucci, there's just an over-reliant on those sort of players. Even Buffon, I know he doesn't play as much, but he's like, 40 now, and he's still in the recognised team.
yeah,
I don't see the development coming through, and the development that is coming through just doesn't seem like it. They should play for Juventus. It seems like they should be sort of at the sort of Inter Milan, Napoli, Roma. They just seem like signings that are just not quite world class.
yeah. And, once you go all out and buy Ronaldo,
Yeah, I suppose.
you know, you think that's it.
I mean, they're not as. It's not as devastating for them as it is for Barcelona. But I can definitely see it going that way when Ronaldo eventually dries up or just ends it.
But the one thing that I think Juventus need to do was to build around, not necessarily focus Ronaldo as being the main man. But if you look at when Real Madrid, when he came in from Real Madrid, they then bought, similar players like the Kroos, Modric. They were at the times. These are quite well, not necessarily they weren't in like the best of best. They were.
Yeah.
They were. It was all they needed was to take that one more step, and that's when they were there.
But yeah, and saying that with the Juventus players, you said about just taking that one more step, because definitely at Tottenham, Modric looked amazing, but he needed that little bit of push and to play at that world-class team to show how good he was. And the same with Kroos. I mean, Kroos looked amazing at Bayern Munich, but at Real Madrid, he's looked at times he's looked as one of the best midfielders in the world. But if you look at all four of those midfielders that Juventus started, McKennie, even if he went to play for Madrid or PSG, I don't think he would look amazing. The same with Rabiot, the same with maybe Bentancur, but not Chiesa. Other than maybe Ronaldo, Chiellini, De Ligt, I can't see a world-class player in there.
Yeah, like with De Ligt and things like that. That takes time and things like that. The one that got me, obviously. The reason why Danilo is there because of João Cancelo from City.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why he's there.
Yeah, because they sort of have to play him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was managing Juventus, you've probably got great players in the youth teams that are willing to play in that position.
Well, you've got Demiral. I don't know how versatile he is, but I know he's been sort of fed in a little bit, probably as the replacement for Chiellini.
Who's the one that's on loan? There's a player that's on loan, and is it? No, it's not Buggiani. It's not. It's where is he? I'll do my head in now. Luca Pellegrini, that's one of them. I know he's a left back, but he's tipped to be quite good.
Who's that?
Luca Pellegrini. He's at Genoa at the moment.
Oh, okay.
He's 21. I know he plays left back, but with a 21-year-old, surely you could also have him playing on the right hand side.
And he's got probably more of a chance of playing first team football against Danilo than he does against Alexandre.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a bit. Yeah. That's like you said, it's just this is the thing with a lot of most clubs. No, not even I say most clubs, but there's some of the bigger clubs now are realizing that the youth is the way to go.
Yeah, exactly. But they're realizing it.
Yeah, they're realizing it now.
Yeah, they should have been realizing it realistically probably 2 years ago, because recently I think I'm trying to think of teams that sort of did it before it was cool, but before it was sort of necessary. And I'm thinking you could even argue potentially Manchester United. I know there's probably a little bit of bias in that.
United was always the Fergie always gave the academy players to run out. Look at the class of '92, for example.
Well, yeah, who have you got there? Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, both Neville brothers, Ryan Giggs. There's 6 just there. And I think they played every position.
Yeah.
Like, they all played, except for, obviously, Phil Neville, who went to Everton.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. There are loads of clubs that you could actually look at and think, yeah, they have given quite a good, quite giving the youngsters a good run out.
youngsters are definitely the way to go. You've just got to, unlike Barcelona, you've got to, well, to be fair, I say that, but United, with those 6 players, pretty much did all play them pretty close together. But for whatever reason, it worked.
Yeah.
And Fergie knew how to handle them and how to implement them into the team. Whereas
I think they're realizing it now, because it's like, oh, we can't spend 100 million every season trying to get the best players.
Yeah, the finances over the last since Neymar, since even Ronaldo, maybe 80 million, is sort of the last 10 years has been astronomical, been crazy. And they realized that a way to save money and to still have success is to bring up the youth team. You see now, probably the best youth prospect in the world at the minute is probably Phil Foden.
Yeah.
You've got the odd player for odd teams, like you've got at Chelsea, you've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, you've got Tammy Abraham was a youth one, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Mason Mount, you've got players like that, and at United you've got Rashford that's still there,
Greenwood,
Brandon Williams, obviously not as good, but he's been playing in the first team. Yeah, it's just definitely, they don't have to, like Brandon Williams, they don't have to be world beaters, but they just have to play the role and fit the role. If they do a solid 6, 7, play 10 games a season, they're pretty decent every game. That gives a rest to, the 31-year-old left back that's been playing every game.
Yeah.
It's just offering something different.
Yeah, because it's just not going to work all the time.
No.
So, looking forward to this weekend's games. The big game on Saturday was the Merseyside derby. To be honest with you, I think this will be a close one, but I think Liverpool will take it.
Yeah, I think coming off that Leipzig game, if they hadn't have had that, coming off the loss to Leicester, they would have been vulnerable. But I think, obviously, Leipzig are a good enough team to boost them around the confidence. So, yeah, I'd say, and Everton, although the win, who was the win they had? Tottenham. It was in the cup, wasn't it? Although they got that win, I think Liverpool will have a few games where they sort of rekindle what they did last season. So, I'll say 2-0.
Yeah, well, I was going to say 2-1 because Everton will probably go and get a goal from like a corner or something. Big Yerry. I don't even know if Yerry Mina's fit or not.
Michael Keane, Yerry Mina.
Yeah.
I was going to say Morgan Schneiderlin.
Those types of players will come up in just a random corner that we'd managed to get from somehow.
Phil Jagielka will re-sign for him to play that game, come up for the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't he?
Well, he scored that. Do you remember that banging goal with like the outside of his foot there, the crossbar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a madness.
Yeah, and then this weekend seems like it's quite a derby weekend. You got West Ham versus Tottenham, and then Villa versus Leicester. Two local well, I say local.
What? How's that a derby?
West Ham and Tottenham don't like each other. I can tell you that. Okay. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's a London one, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, obviously, Villa and Leicester, really the only Midlands clubs other than Wolves, obviously.
So, who are we predicting? West Ham, Tottenham?
Going off recent form, I'm going to say West Ham.
Wow.
I'm going to say West Ham 2-0.
I think I'll agree with you, to be fair. I think someone like Thomas Souček could potentially get into the goal, and I think even potentially a penalty, because I think if David Sanchez plays, he's just not quite...
He's very vulnerable.
He seemed... Yeah, that is the word I was looking for. He does seem very vulnerable at the minute, and I think, someone like Antonio, who is fast, and even Jared Bowen maybe, or like a cross,
Yeah.
he can maybe handball it or something like that.
Yeah.
And, I'd say 2-0. I think probably set pieces are probably going to be the dangerous thing for them.
And then obviously Aston Villa, Leicester. I think Leicester will get this one. But again, I think it'll be closer.
I think Leicester just overall probably have better players in every area. Not in every area, but like more, better players in general. So I think Leicester. I can see that being a 1-0 to Leicester.
Yeah, I was going to say either a 1-0 or a 2-1 kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Because it depends on what kind of form that Villa pick up. Because obviously they lost against Burnley, and then obviously Leicester coming off the back of that Liverpool win. I just think that I think Leicester will have the better form to pick up from, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
And then this other game, it's not necessarily a local derby; it's more of a competitive one between Master and the Apprentice. Arsenal versus Man City.
Man City 4-0.
I've got 3-0.
I just think Man City are going to be too hot to handle.
Oh yeah.
Arsenal, who have they got in defence? Who would even play? Bellerin, Tierney, Holding, Gabriel,
Louise, and because I think they played. I think they played Louise and Gabriel.
And then
against Leeds?
Who's City's front? Mahrez, Jesus,
Foden. Against Leeds, they had a back four of Bellerin on the right, Louise and Gabriel in the midfield, and Cedric left back.
Wow. If Arsenal don't give away a penalty, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, and I think it'll be 2-0 only because I think
you said 3-0 a minute ago.
It'll be one of them.
City will win.
Yeah. Because obviously, just the City attacking is just going to be too much.
And the City just everywhere. Since Ruben Diaz, obviously Laporte was injured, but Ruben Diaz is obviously sorry. Go on.
And then obviously, like you said, Ruben Diaz has come in, made it solid, and then obviously John Stones has picked up from somewhere this incredible form he's been on.
Yeah, I know. He just seems, again, not a world beater, but he just seems really good again.
Yeah, he seems like he did. He seems like he did when he first started. In the season he left Everton.
Yeah. Then he looked like a real exciting prospect, and now again, not a prospect because he's he's aging or whatever. But again, he looks like a solid. He looks like he belongs in that team now.
Yeah. And he's actually actively fighting for position.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not going to be so easy because everyone assumed that when Laporte comes back, he'll just go straight into that role.
Well, I know that Laporte played against Everton, but then
it would be helpful if I did my research on that.
But then he played. I think Stones played alongside him. Did Stones play alongside him, or was it Diaz? Oh, sorry, no, it was Laporte and Diaz. But then okay. I know previously the last game against whatever it was, whoever he played, the Tottenham game, it was Laporte, it was Stones and Laporte.
Okay. Well, So there's not necessarily a given in the back two then, even because Laporte's back, there is sort of ability to switch the roles. Yeah. I don't know where my vocabulary's gone today.
When they played, but also another interesting thing that I saw about City when they played Everton was Cancelo. We had Walker on the right back. They started to play with a back four, but when the game got into it, you saw Cancelo move from left back basically into a midfield position. And it was basically a back three.
Right.
And then you had obviously Silva and Foden pushing up. So I think Cancelo was there to sort of help Rodri and and some of the other players in the midfield.
Yeah.
So it almost to be honest, it almost seems like they're playing a 3-4-3 at times.
And if they're going that attacking against an Arsenal side like the one they've got this season, there ain't no telling how many goals they could possibly score. Like, I was thinking 4 is probably pretty generous. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, they're touching 6, depending on how City come out.
Yeah. Because obviously they've got like Gundogan's injured, and this is, don't forget, this is even without De Bruyne.
Yeah, they look amazing without De Bruyne.
He played, I think he played something like a couple of minutes last night against Everton. Oh, when did he come on?
How long has he been out?
He played for 10. He played for 10 minutes against Everton.
How long has he been out?
I don't know. Well, he's been out for quite a while. His last game was against Aston Villa on the 20th of January. Okay. So he's been out for nearly a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played 10 minutes against Everton, and in those 10 minutes he did really well. Obviously, he's come back from an injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've also got to think that this is also without Aguero.
Yeah, I mean they've been.
I know he's playing
without Aguero for about 2 years.
I know he's getting on a bit, but still, he can still provide the goals.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something, and I think, like you said, I think City are they're on a new level at the moment.
Yeah, I think because of last season, not necessarily it's just that they didn't sort of show what the potential they had in the season prior. And this season, it sort of looks like they've gone, there's nothing to lose. I mean, they didn't win the back-to-back last season. Liverpool are probably going to be favourites again. We might as well just go for it. And that's exactly what they've done. Especially with, I think, was Foden playing week in, week out last season? I don't think he was he?
No. No,
and this season
he was playing more than he used to.
So I think he started to come in 2 years ago. Last season he was sort of rotating, and now this season he's pretty much on the team sheet. Yeah. So I think that's helped sort of just have confidence in him, and Pep show confidence towards players like that. But yeah, I think a pretty dominating win by City will look the most likely.
And then moving away from City in the Premier League to moving to City in the Champions League, they got Mönchengladbach on Wednesday. So that one, I think, I don't know. It depends on how they come out. How they come out of the Arsenal game, I think.
Yeah, I would say maybe 3-1 to City in that one, because I think Mönchengladbach going forward, they've got Plié, they've got Thuram. They've got Stindl at the back. They've got Ginter. They've got Jan Sommer in goal. All round, they're not bad. They're a pretty solid side. Let me just see where they are in the Bundesliga at the minute. They are currently, I know it doesn't really matter, but they're currently 7th. So they're doing as well as Dortmund.
In the league, they've in the past 5 games they've drawn 2, won 2, and lost 1.
Yeah, so they're doing all right, to be fair.
Yeah, they beat Dortmund 4-2.
I think, like for Arsenal, City's just going to be too much of an opponent, and they're just going to be too attacking and just want goals.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think I would probably go with a 3-1. And then the other game on the Wednesday, Atalanta versus Real Madrid.
Right.
That one's going to be. That one's a tough one. I think. Obviously, Real Madrid recently have started to pick up results. But they're still quite a way off from Atletico in the league.
I think if you'd have asked me this last season, I'd have probably gone in favour of Atalanta. But with Alejandro Gomez going to Sevilla and Real Madrid, and as well Gomez sort of being their main player last season, as well as Ilicic, Real Madrid look better. You know, they are far off the pace of Atletico, but that was mostly to do with the start of the season. So
Yeah.
I think realistically, I think you're looking at a 3-0 to Real Madrid, maybe 3-1, sort of similar to the City Mönchengladbach game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because Atlanta, the last 5, drawn 2, won 2, lost 1, similar to Mönchengladbach. So I think they're in a similar position.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it would be a 3-1 Real Madrid. And then this is great because these are natural segues. These, and then the other Madrid is playing in the Champions League the day before against Chelsea.
I think that's probably the most even game out of the Champions League, of the 4 Champions League games that are coming up. Again, there isn't much telling about what Chelsea could do because they could do, they could hold them to. I could see any result really. I think the one that I think they'll struggle to beat Atletico Madrid. I think they'll do well to get a draw. I think realistically, Atletico are obviously going into it as favourites, and I wouldn't be surprised if Atletico narrowly won it. I don't think they'll dominate. I think they might dominate possession and passing and things like that, but I don't think they'll dominate the scoreline. I think if anything, it might be like a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. I think sort of, but to Atletico Madrid, I think it most likely it'll be a win to Atletico Madrid by maybe 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with a draw, more because I think they'll just cancel each other out.
Yeah.
So I think like a 1-1.
Fair enough.
And then last Champions League game of the week, Lazio versus Bayern.
All right, Bayern are going to win. All right, so what's the next segment?
Yeah, Bayern Munich to win. I think I'll be like 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. Bayern just looks stupid again this season and just are scoring for fun.
Yeah, and then obviously with the Europa League, we predicted last week.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's all coming through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, United beat Sociedad 4-0 earlier today. So I think it'll just be the same as what we said.
Granada are beating Napoli 2-0. Wow.
But next segment. I found this article. This is BBC Sports, England Euro 2011. They predicted this 5 years ago. So obviously I'm going to tell you the team and then you let me know what you think, and then we'll talk about whether they probably are wrong about some of them.
They are wrong.
But we'll just talk about where they've gone wrong necessarily.
Okay.
So we'll start off Joe Hart in that.
So they predicted that for 2020.
Yeah,
that was in 2015.
Yeah, in 2015.
Right. Okay.
So
in 2015,
at the time he was the Golden Glove winner. So
to be fair, yeah, he was number 1 for England at that time, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it would have been hard to really see anything other than that. It is shocking to see such sort of a fall from grace due to sort of being sort of like an not old fashioned, but I mean, there's a reason he's at Burnley. He's at Burnley apparently. He's joined Burnley again. Yeah. Sorry. There's a reason he was playing for teams like Burnley, because teams like Burnley often have goalkeepers that don't need their feet.
Yeah.
So he was able to do that a little bit. But I mean, I don't think they necessarily got it wrong. Well, they did get it wrong, but you can forgive it because you couldn't have seen the rise of Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson. Like 5 years ago, no one really even knew who they were.
Yeah.
So, you know.
This one's an interesting one. At right back, Nathaniel Klein.
Yeah, again, like Joe Hart, you sort of can't be mad at it because he was doing well. Was he at Liverpool then?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And he was playing, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't really see the hate in it. Like,
yeah. The
only reason Klein stopped playing is because he got injured, and then Trent played and just.
Well, that's going to be the running theme of the team. You know, around at the time, you could see why they were being picked.
Well, yeah, exactly. He was. How old was he then? maybe 23, 4.
Yeah.
I think he might be 28, 29 now. So yeah, again, you can see the reasoning behind it. I think he wasn't the first choice then, was he? For England, I mean.
No, it would be. I thought it would have been.
Or was it Walker? Would have been Walker, no?
I think so. Yeah. But yeah,
What's that noise?
that's my dad. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just talk over him. The centre-back pairing of John Stones and Eric Dyer.
I mean, to be fair, that's not far. That's not bad. Eric Dyer is still a mainstay.
Yeah, and obviously Stones right now being on the form he is.
Yeah, who's the other sort of shoe-in in today's team? I mean, Michael Keane plays quite a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe Harry Maguire, one of them too.
Well, you would put Maguire is because the lead. He's a lead. He's almost like a leader. Obviously, he's the captain at United, but
yeah, but Michael Keane's the captain of Everton, no?
I don't think so.
Is he not? I'll have a look. Oh, it might be Seamus Coleman. Does Seamus Coleman play?
Yeah,
Seamus Coleman. Sorry.
So yeah, I think that's the only, like you said, that's the only other shoe-in really, Maguire and maybe.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'd say that's not bad. That's probably that's the best one so far. Both of those players still play for England. The other two don't get anywhere near the England team.
Yeah. Left back Luke Shaw, again, recently.
Yeah. Again, yeah, based off recent form, like John Stones, he is in with a shout, but he's probably not the number one. It probably is maybe Chilwell. Yeah. But again, 5 years ago, no one even knew who Chilwell was.
Yeah.
It's just really that. It's based off of who was performing in that 2015 season. No, I mean, why would you look at Ben Chilwell and think, yep, he's going to be an England regular when he wasn't even playing for Leicester?
Yeah. And then a midfield three of Jordan Henderson, Ross Barkley, and Jack Wilshere.
Wow. Yeah, that just goes down and down and down. Jordan Henderson, yeah, fair play. They predicted that. 5 years ago, he was sort of getting into the team, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the team. Ross Barkley, again, he was a young player from Everton. He was playing regularly, and you can't hate at that. And even now, he's still in the Prem. He's still doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing well at Villa.
But then you look at Jack Grealish, and tipped to be the world's next best English midfielder at Arsenal. Goes to, I don't even know where he went to from Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, he's at Bournemouth now. So
from Arsenal. Oh, did he go?
Oh, wait, let me look up. Wilshere. Jack Wilshere.
Didn't he go to Bournemouth?
He did, but I don't know whether he went straight there. He was on loan at Bournemouth. He went to West Ham.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was another club that was going to go to my head.
So yeah, at Arsenal for 10 years. So 3 years after this was predicted, he left to join West Ham. Was there for 2 years, made 16 league appearances, and is now at Bournemouth.
Like we said previously in other podcasts, that Wilshere was hit by injuries all the time.
Yeah,
if he'd been able to keep himself fit properly, he would still be in contention.
I mean, he'd probably still be playing for England, to be honest, if he was still fit. Yeah, that's like one of those. Like Henderson, they got right. Barkley, you could maybe see him playing for England one day, maybe in like a friendly or something. Like he might, depending on like what sort of form he can get. But Wilshere, you'll never see him play for England again.
No,
he hasn't played for England since 2016.
Flippin' heck. And then a front three.
Right. They've got the formation quite right, sort of.
Nathan Redmond on the left. Harry Kane obviously through the middle, and Sterling on the.
Again, they got two of the players. Wow, Nathan Redmond.
Yeah.
I mean, where was he 5 years ago? Norwich, was that?
So where's Nathan? So Nathan Redmond.
I know he was at Norwich at one point.
Yeah.
Norwich.
I think he was at
Norwich. Okay. Jeez.
But yeah, it was still just a bit.
To be fair, they haven't got that team too bad.
No.
They've sort of. I mean, every position. The defence. They got Shaw and Stones pretty much.
Yeah.
They got Henderson and they got Kane and Sterling.
Yeah.
So what's that? 5 out
Yeah.
of 11. Not too bad considering 5 years ago. And I mean, the only howlers they got is Jack Wilshere and Nathan Redmond. But even Nathan Redmond, I think Nathan Redmond's closer to England than Jack Wilshere is.
Yes.
So, but he ain't getting in the squad, especially with the current sort of attackers that England have.
Grealish, Mount.
Yeah.
Just to name two of them.
Yeah, Saka, if he was to play left wing, he's getting in there above Nathan Redmond. But to be fair, I mean, that ain't bad, to be fair. If that team then probably looked stupid. But I swear Nathan Redmond wasn't even playing in the team then. So why were they predicting him?
I presume that was just, off the fact that he probably could have gone elsewhere, carried on.
But he's only ever played once for England.
Yeah, I don't know.
He made his only England appearance in 2017. So they predicted that was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, he played 112 times in the league for Norwich, scored 11 goals. And since being at Southampton, he scored 19 league goals in 150 appearances. So it's not what you could call lethal.
No.
But, yeah, and with Rashford, Grealish,
Sancho,
Mount, Foden, Sancho,
Saka,
Emil Smith-Rowe. Emil Smith-Rowe is probably going to get there.
The list could be endless.
Yeah, there's probably 15 to 20 players above him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's only 26 as well.
Yeah.
He's 26 and he's been around in the Premier League since 2013. Wow.
You always forget that about certain players, like Sterling, for example. Sterling, you think is much older than he actually is.
He's like 25, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's been in since he was like 18. Was it Liverpool when he Liverpool? I think he made his Premier League debut at 18 or something like that.
He's currently 26. He joined Liverpool. He played for Liverpool when he was 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 26. So, yeah.
And he's been in, nearly 10 years now.
How many times do you think he's played for England?
Surely we're past 100.
58.
Really?
Well, it says that on his wiki, but I don't know how.
Well, that might just be official ones. Official appearances.
Yeah, not. It says here 58 appearances and goals by national team in year. Yeah, it says. I mean, apparently 58.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, he's made 58 appearances, scored 13 goals.
Yeah, that seems way too low. But I suppose it's hard to play him.
Made his England debut at 17 years old.
That's stupid.
Yep. Just shows you, that's what I mean. It's like you completely forget that players like Sterling aren't, they've still got 4 years till they reach 30.
Can we, based off of what we've just been looking at, I've got a thing up here. It says, Next Generation 2015, 50 of the best young talents in world football.
In 2015?
Yeah. So this is what The Guardian claimed was the next generation.
Okay.
So it's by country. I think they've picked one player from every country.
Okay.
So Argentina, they've picked Franco Lopez. Yep, never heard of him. I think it might be a couple from each team. Argentina, I'll pick the major nations.
Yeah.
Argentina, Tomas Kanenci.
Again.
Yeah, no idea. Belgium, they picked Ismail Azawi, who at the time it looks like he was at Wolfsburg.
The name rings a bell, but I think it must be like one of those football manager signings.
Yeah, presumably. As well, Brazil, they've got a couple of others. They've got Evander Ferreira, Lincoln, and Mateus Pereira, but not the one that's at West Brom.
The one at Barcelona. The one at Sporting.
God. No, it says October 2020 update. Only managed 10 league games for Dijon before. Oh wait, it might be. And he joined Barcelona B side in August. So yeah, he might be at Barcelona at the moment.
Yeah, I think he was on loan.
Okay, so somewhat predicted that. Kind of.
Because he's another football manager signing from.
Oh, okay. So for France, oh God, who the hell is this? Bilal Boutoba.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
they got Dayo Upamecano.
Yeah.
Jeffren Adelaide, that was at Arsenal, who I think is playing for Nice now.
Yeah.
I think he's doing okay.
Yeah.
And Luca Fernandez, so Zidane's son.
Yeah. He's not really. Well, didn't Zidane sell him?
Yeah, I don't think he plays for Madrid anymore.
I can't believe that. Flipping, imagine your dad having the authority just to sell it.
I know.
Jesus.
So you could say Adelaide did okay, Upamecano's okay, and then Mateus Pereira. I mean, at Barcelona must be doing something right. Germany, Fabian Benko.
Again, name rings a bell, but
they ring the bell with me. And also Felix Paslak.
Yes, I know Felix Paslak.
Okay. With Italy, Manuel Locatelli. What? They've got the same name next to each other, but two different pictures. So Manuel Locatelli and Manuel Nicoletti.
I don't know either of them.
I thought that was the same name.
I don't know either of them.
No, me neither. And then for Holland, we've got Javiro Dilrosun, Justin Bijlau, and Timothy Fosu-Mensah.
Fosu-Mensah hasn't looked as what he was predicted, obviously.
No, not at all. They've also got Odegaard in there.
Yeah. You know, he's slowly coming into it.
This is interesting. They got Yanis Hadji, who's currently at Rangers.
Again, he's slowly coming into it now.
Jesus. Spain, Kuki.
Oh,
bell, but I don't remember why.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And Jose Amo, and also Dani Olmo.
Obviously, Dani Olmo's at Leipzig now.
Yeah. Christian Pulisic as well.
Yeah, he is gonna at some point.
And also Valverde, who's at Madrid.
Yes, he looks a good player as well.
So they didn't do terrible. The players they did pick, some of them are world beaters,
but not all of them. It's like a handful.
Yeah, they didn't pick many, and they also didn't pick any English players.
Yeah, well, but if you did that now, you're looking at Sancho, Foden, Saka, one in France, Aouar.
Yeah. What was this? Bleacher Report also did one. Do you want me to go through them just quickly?
Yeah, just quickly. Yeah, because we'll wrap up with this.
Okay, cool. So, if it wants to, but that's being stupid. All right, there you go. I'll pick the players that. So this is top 100 that they said to look out for. So the 100th is Harrison Reed, who's at Fulham, who was at Southampton.
Yeah, he's been okay recently.
Yanga Mbiwa is on the list, 96. Maximilian Arnold. Jores Okore, who was at Aston Villa. Arias.
Yeah.
N'Golo Kante.
Obviously, he's gone on. You could argue he's one of the best midfielders.
He was still at Cayenne at the time. Yeah.
Like you said, you could argue that he is one of the best holding midfielders of this current generation.
Lozano is on the list. Winston Reid.
He's at Brentford now.
Yeah. Bertrand Traore. Timo Werner.
Obviously, forget that he's at the time he's having at Chelsea at the moment.
Bill Hamid, who's the goalkeeper at DC United. Somehow they thought he would do better than Timo Werner and N'Golo Kante.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Jordan Marvey. Marquinhos.
Yeah.
Kovacic. Britta Sombalonga.
Jesus.
Andre Ayew. Yannick Bolasie. Ceballos. Yeah. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, they thought 51.
Yeah. There's some names that you've read out there that I could tell why they did it, but they just haven't learned. They haven't gone up to the heights that they probably could have.
Yeah, it's probably based on age and the club that they're playing for.
Yeah.
So if you're 18 and play for sort of a top 4 club in your country, you're probably getting on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is strange to see the rise and fall of certain players. Like looking at this list, let me go top 10 and just have a look quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. So the top 10 was Mbula, the one that was at Stoke. Number 9, Nainggolan. 8, Fekir.
Yeah.
7, Nemanja Matic.
Yeah.
6, DeAndre Yedlin.
That's an
I
interesting
think he
one.
just moved to Tottenham.
Yeah, that's an interesting one still, though.
Number 5, Jose Jimenez.
Yeah.
Number 4, Ricardo Rodriguez, the left back that was at Wolfsburg.
Ah, yes.
He did look really good at one point.
Yes.
Wow. Number 3, Morgan Schneiderlin.
Okay.
Number 2, Andre Lacazette. And this, who do you think the number 1 player that they thought was going to be a world beater, the best player to look out for?
25th. Oh, I don't know. This could be anybody.
Kevin Campbell.
Wow. that is so anticlimactic.
Yeah, I know.
Well, considering like we said, you got De Bruyne on the list, Kante, Werner, Pulisic.
Says Kevin Campbell is very obviously superior to most in the Austrian Bundesliga, and it's no surprise to see a team like Borussia Dortmund roll the dice on him. For approximately 10 million euros, Jurgen Klopp has equipped himself with another dazzling playmaker. Is he just the sort of lift Dortmund is so desperately in need of this season? Lord knows they need it. The 2013 Champions League finalists are spending the winter break 17th in the Bundesliga. So, yeah, you go from bloody Kante at number 90 to Kevin Campbell at number 1.
Jesus. But it's like I said, if now, just off the top of my head, some of the good young players coming through, like I said, Foden, Ayuara, Leon, even Pulisic, he's not mega, he's not old, is he?
I suppose at the time, yeah, like you said, you could see why they picked him. At the time, these are probably really good picks. I suppose like now you could pick who's sort of half decent that could be top 100. Ezri Konsa, someone like him maybe. Yeah. You could say someone like him. In 5 years, he might be playing fucking in America or, China or, could be at championship club. We never know.
Yeah. You just need that. And that's the worst. The thing is, you just need that. Every player needs that one club to actually take the chance.
Yeah, and a lot of the players that I just read out didn't. They were there at a big club. They were young, and then a couple of years later, they get sold and then never heard of again.
Yeah, I know of Jeremy Doku. Is it Lille?
Possibly.
He's a young, up and coming Belgian international.
Yeah.
You've got what's he called? Mateus Arezzo. He's a young Uruguayan striker.
Okay.
He's tipped to be quite the next big thing. Just trying to think now.
To be fair, they got Heung-min Son at number 21 on this list.
Yeah, he'd be higher right now.
Yeah, yeah, just a bit.
You know, there's and there's probably still loads of players abroad. You know, some of the ones like in some of the players in Brazil and things like that nobody knows about.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you get a lot of good youngsters from Brazil. To be fair,
there's a player in Brazil. He's 25. He's called Gabriel Barbosa.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see why nobody's picked him up.
Gabriel. Oh yeah. He was at Inter Milan for a little while.
Yeah, and now he was in Brazil.
I don't think
he's in Brazil.
Out.
And then obviously,
I thought you were talking about the Gabriel that's left wing that plays for Benfica now.
No.
But yeah, I know who you're on about.
No, I think, and then you got Everton. Suarez.
That's what I'm on about.
Yeah,
that's what I'm on about.
Yeah, he was tipped to be quite big.
Is he doing okay at Benfica? I think he's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's doing okay.
Yeah.
Another one at Benfica that I think is going to be quite good is Florento Luis. He's on loan at Monaco at the moment.
Right.
There's
someone that's supposed to be the. Oh yeah, I recognise. I know who you're on about. There's someone that's supposed to be like the second Bruno Fernandes, but I forget who it is. Someone that's literally at Lisbon.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I'm just trying to find it.
Let's go to Reddit.
Nuno Mendes?
I don't think so. Have a look. Oh,
no,
yeah, I can't. I don't know. No. But they've got, there's this, even players in Portugal, for example, there's still going to be loads of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we'll leave it on the looking at the future.
Yep.
Because I think that'll do it for today's episode.
Very good talkative episode.
Exactly. If you've got anything you want us to talk about, let us know down in the comments. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notifications. You'll be notified of every video, so you don't miss any upload. Like the video, like I said, comment down below what you'd like us to talk about. Comment any, like we said last week, comment any guests you'd like us to get on the podcast. Let's think about reasonable guests. We're not trying to get Ronaldo or Messi on at the moment.
Why not?
I mean, if he would, I'll take it if he wants to.
I know Ronaldo's sister's auntie's dog's owner that works on the corner shop where a little kid comes in and knows the mum's sister. And so if we could do something with that, that would be helpful. So if that woman's listening, drop a comment down below. We'll translate it to English and then we'll let you know.
Yeah. And then we'll get back to you and you can translate it to Portuguese. But yeah, that'll do it for today's episode. Thanks for listening. And watching, obviously.
Or just listening if you're deaf. If you're deaf,
listening.
If you're blind. Just listening if you're deaf.
And that's been our take on this week. You got anything else to add?
Nope.
That's all right then. And that has been Footy Fridays. Obviously, like I said, socials are down below. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye.